Hi, I'm David. Glad to have your company this week on Soka Xtra. Tonight, we have the match of the week from the Public Servants Soccer Association competition, the women's preparations for the youth tournament next month, the national men's participation in the OFC Nations Cup, and to wrap up the program, an interview with head coach Frank Farina. First up, let's cross over to IPA and check out the match of the week between Oro Mix and Morata Swans. The boys from Northern Province proved with the opener 10 minutes into the first half by Jody Duna in the penalty area to put them ahead 1-0. The Morata reps attempt to equalize was a header as they struggled to score with Oro's defense clearing them quickly in the territory. The game seesawed with two teams making unsuccessful attempts and score remained 1-0 towards the halftime break. Morata Swans had the opportunity but gave it away as the mixed boys took advantage of that and scored through a connected header from Silas Lom, sealing the first half to an end 2-0. Heading into the second half, Morata Swans kept pressuring the Oro side with attempts to score, but Oro went hard on them, sealing off every possible gap they could find. The boys in red picked up momentum and forced their way towards Oro's goal mouth when Joe Sarufa placed a rebound from teammate to bring the score to 2-1 in favor of Oro Mix. Both teams could not get better in the remaining minutes to hold the score at 2-1 in the final whistle. A youth tournament is held every year to identify and select young players for international duties. Here is the Under-17 women's preparation story. We want to give our young girls the best chance to compete on world stage at both junior and senior level. As seen from the results from the recent tournaments, our women football is one of the areas PNG Football Association will be focusing on to improve the standard of women participation in the court in all age groups.
Time is important. Money is something. So time is important. Commitment is important. Supposing commitment no start, something might not work.
The annual women football tournament have seen a lot of new breeds being recognized, but there is more to work on these young girls to improve. Next month we'll see the tournament played in 3 categories to prepare for the next OFC qualifiers next year. Kimbe is one center in PNG moving forward in terms of promoting women football in the country. With this year's youth championships expected to take place in Ley and Meding next month, Kimbe Football Association is one of the associations taking part in the championships and is preparing its young women through its competitions held on the weekends in the province. The PNG Kundus football team completed the first stage of the OFC Nations Cup qualifiers, and Tahiti's journey to represent Oceania was an interesting one. PNG was pooled with some of the toughest teams in the Pacific, which has been a good challenge for the PNG side in terms of preparing our national teams in future international tournaments. And that has proved to the boys we will have to step up to meet the level of other countries. However, this is a very good experience for the team.
Yeah, look, it was a difficult group. When you look at the fact that only 9 goals were scored in the whole group. You know, I think New Zealand 4 goals, us 2 goals, Solomon's 2 goals, and Fiji 1. So it was a difficult group.
Without losing hope, they gave the best in all the matches, going down to Solomon Islands in the opening match 2-1 and a close margin of 1-0 against New Zealand in the second match.
The performance in Honiara, Solomon Islands, was something that we can be proud of. I mean, we lost narrowly by not bigger margin but less margin. I mean, we lost to Solomon Islands 1-0 and then we lost to New Zealand 2-1. And then we drew against the Fiji. Fiji used to be the most country that's always running up in the Nations Cup, and we drew that match. PNG Kundu team made an impact in Solomon Islands. I think we were the best team in the tournament. I'd just like to say thank you to Bank of South Pacific, BSP, for its support to the PNG Kundus, and I'm sure we've made them proud. So we look forward for the next tournament.
With head coach Frank Farina's recommendations for the football body in the country, they must continue with national teams to aim for the gold medal.
Yeah, look, it was a difficult group. When you look at the fact that only 9 goals were scored in the whole group. You know, I think New Zealand 4 goals, us 2 goals, Solomon's 2 goals, and Fiji 1. So it was a difficult group, but you know we're not complaining about that. It's a great experience for the boys, you know, because PNG hadn't played for I think 10, 11, 12 years at the Nations Cup. So, and it showed that the competition between all the countries is very, very close now. You know, and I think that's good. Good for Oceania and good for, you know, teams coming through. Look, I think, you know, you can't just stop things for 3 years now. I think it's very important from PNGFA's point of view that they continue on with the national team. You know, in 3 years' time, you have the SP Games here in Moresby in Papua New Guinea. So I think it's a realistic goal to aim for a medal, you know, if not a gold medal. I think that's realistic as long as they keep the national team going in the next 3 years. You can't just sort of stop and then hopefully in 4 years' time get the team together for a brief period and do well. You know, we've seen with Australia and New Zealand that it's been over a long period of time, 25, 30 years, where it's small steps along the way. And, you know, Papua New Guinea has now started making those small steps, and some of those steps are getting bigger. So I think the important thing to come out is that they have to continue on and keep the national team going as much as they can.
And this brings us to the end of this week's program. Do join us again next week at the same time, same place. You can also log on to www.pngfootball.com.pg to check out our latest stories and activities. On behalf of the media crew and PNGFA, good night.